So last class we have discussed with the biological classification. I have completed with the seminar part of that, right? So we have to start with the multiple choice questions of a particular chapter, which is biological classification. We are doing that, and I will be starting with the second PU chapter, which is the third chapter, human reproduction today, and we will complete that whatever multiple choice questions. Okay. So take down the first question. An organism lacking chlorophyll but able to carry on photosynthesis of organic matter has been found among which of the following? Which of the following? So can anyone tell me the answer for this? You should remember an organism which is lacking chlorophyll. They do not have chlorophyll, but they are able to carry out photosynthesis of organic matter. Is it bacteria, fungi, viruses, or the bacteriophage? Remember, an organism, even though they do not contain chlorophyll, they are able to photosynthesize. Okay, so which is nothing but the bacteria. The first question, first option. Remember, bacteria. In that, a particular bacteria is there. So which is nothing but cyanobacteria. Okay, cyanobacteria, which is also called as a blue-green algae. Okay, which contains both the both the chlorophyll pigment. Chlorophyll pigment will be there. Then blue color chlorophyll pigment, which gives what color to that particular cyanobacteria? Green pigment. Then what about the blue? As I told you, cyanobacteria is also called as a blue-green algae. Okay, blue-green algae. So blue color imparts what? Because why it is bluish in color? I told you why it is green, because of the presence of chlorophyll. Why it is bluish in color? Because of the presence of what type of a pigment? Can anyone tell me? It is phycocyanin. Remember, phycocyanin. I will extend to this question phycoerythrin. Remember, phycoerythrin. If this pigment is present, which imparts red color to a particular algae. Got the point, pa? Any doubt? Have you all understood? This is an extra question I have told you. They may ask, like, if a particular bacteria has a red pigment in them, are it looking like reddish in color? Why? Because of the presence of a particular pigment called as a phycoerythrin. Okay, got the point? Yes. There, please interact with them. Why girls are so silent today? Yes, the second option is fungi, viruses, and the bacteriophages. They all are heterotropic. Remember, they do not contain any of the chlorophyll. They are all achlorophyllous. Okay, achlorophyllous means they do not have any chlorophyll pigment, and all are heterotropic in nature. All the other three options I'm telling. Okay, we'll move to the second question. Bacteria were first discovered by
Ma'am, Antony von Leeuwenhoek.
Very nice. Good. The fourth option is the correct option. Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Can anyone tell me what is the contribution of Louis Pasteur? Pasteurization. Please make a note. The second option, Louis Pasteur, who has discovered pasteurization, even fermentation. Remember, these two very important process was given by Louis Pasteur. Then what about Robert Koch? The first option, Robert Koch. Tell me no. Robert Koch has discovered a vaccine against anthrax. Remember anthrax, okay? For the anthrax disease, he has found out a particular vaccine to that particular disease. And Robert Hooke, what is that?
Discovered nucleus.
Very nice, good. Robert Hooke was cell, no? Robert Brown is nucleus. Remember, Robert Brown who has found out the nucleus, whereas Robert Hooke found out what the cells. Okay. So no doubt, right? In the second question, we will move to the
Ma'am, Robert Hooke he actually found out the microscope, no, ma'am, compound microscope.
microscope along with the cells also. Okay, got the point? Yes, we'll move to the third question. The site of respiration in bacteria. The site of respiration in bacteria is, it is mesosomes. Write down the second option is the correct one, which is called as mesosomes. So how this mesosomes looks like, if you take any of the bacteria which has a cell wall, okay, inside the cell membrane, if you consider this is a cell membrane, in some of the cell membrane there is an internal the small intrusions will be there. So those intrusions are called as what? Mesosomes. So mesosomes, which is very important for the respiration, that is the exchange of gases takes place, which is a cytoplasmic membrane inclusions will be present. Okay, please make a note of that. And what is the site of ribosomes? Very easy, everyone will be knowing.
Protein synthesis.
Protein synthesis takes place. And what about microspores? What about microsomes? Sorry, microsome, which is a part of endoplasmic reticulum. That is also have to make a note. Microsomes are the part of rough endoplasmic reticulum. Also you can take ER, endoplasmic reticulum. Then what about episomes? The first option, episomes. Episomes are, it is present in the bacteriophage. Remember, it is present in gram-positive, not the gram-positive, it is a bacteriophage. Episomes are the part of bacteriophage. You can make a note. Okay, we'll move to the fourth question. Which of the following is not found in bacteria? Fourth question. Very easy question.
Ma'am, first one.
Yes, endoplasmic reticulum. Very easy, because as you know, bacteria is a prokaryotic which does not have any cell organelle. So endoplasmic reticulum is a cell organelle which is not present, and rest of the cell wall is present, DNA is present, even cell cytoplasm. These are all the other three will be present in bacteria, whereas endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, any of the cell organelles you take it, which is absent in bacteria because it is a prokaryotic. Yes. The fifth question. Okay, so yeah, fourth question, the first option. Okay, the fifth question. The main difference between gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria lies in the composition of. Very important question it is. You have to remember the gram-positive. What is the difference between gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria? What is the difference between gram-positive and gram-negative? So these are the two types of bacteria. Remember, they have a cell wall composition difference. What is the, how you can make out whether if we give a bacteria to you, how you can recognize it is a gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria? We will undergo a particular staining procedure, which is called as gram staining. Remember, gram staining is a particular staining procedure. Okay, there are so many stains we will be using, which is called as a crystal violet. Okay, crystal violet color, we will use it. Then after that, we will add the iodine solution. One sec, yeah. Iodine solution. Last one, we will add safranin solution. So if we add the crystal violet to the gram-positive bacteria, the gram-positive bacterial membrane will be having a particular kind of chemicals, a particular kind of a chemical which is called as neuropeptides. Please make a note. gram positive bacteria which has mucopeptides. Okay, mucopeptides. Okay, crystal violet having the mucopeptides. Then whereas sorry, gram positive bacteria it is. Gram negative bacteria will be having peptidoglycan. Have you written? Or you can also write there glycoproteins, glycolipids. Glycolipids will be present in gram negative bacteria, whereas a peptidoglycan or mucopeptide, which is also called as what? Peptidoglycan is present in the gram positive bacteria. So because of the addition of crystal violet, no, it will absorb the violet color. Okay, it absorbs the violet color. If it is a gram negative bacteria, this absorbs the saffron color. So after staining this, if we observe under the microscope, no, so gram positive bacteria looks purple in color. Remember, this is a main identification. We can distinguish between whether it is a gram positive bacteria or the gram negative bacteria. If the bacteria absorbs a crystal violet, then it will looks like purplish color. So we can easily identify that as a gram positive bacteria. Whereas gram negative bacteria, once you add the crystal violet, okay, after adding crystal violet, we are washing through iodine solution. Okay, after washing iodine solution, we will wash it in water. After washing it water, we are adding safranin solution to it. So if it is a gram negative bacteria, this will absorb the safranin stain. Instead of crystal violet, it will absorb what stain? Safranin stain. So it looks pinkish in color. If we see it under the microscope, it will look pinkish in color. So that is the difference between how we can make out gram positive and gram negative bacteria. Any doubt in this part? Have you all understood how to distinguish between gram positive and gram negative? Yes or no? Fast.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good. After this, we will move to the cell wall is a main identification. The fifth question answer is the second option, cell wall. It is not the cilia, it is not the nucleolus, not the cytoplasm. Okay, the sixth question. Sixth question is muramic acid is present in the cell wall of
Bacteria.
Very nice. Good. The first option correct. On the bacteria, there is a presence of muramic acid. In case of green algae, second option, please go to the point first. In green algae, it contains cellulose. Okay, this may be asked for the next few more questions also. So make a note. In case of green algae, the cell wall composition is a cellulose. Yeast and rhizopus, remember both are fungus. Okay, both are fungi. So what is the composition of the fungi? Cell wall composition? Chitin, isn't it? Chitin also you can say. Chitin, which is yeast and rhizopus. Cell wall composition is chitin. So no doubt, right, in this. We will move to the next question, which is the seventh question. Chemosynthetic bacteria are those bacteria. Chemosynthetic bacteria are those bacteria which synthesizes food without light. Which synthesizes food without light. Tell me. Tell me, no? Which synthesizes food without light. That is the answer. Okay. So write down that chemosynthetic bacteria. Chemosynthetic bacteria means what? The bacteria which with the help of chemicals, it will prepare its own light, own food without the light. Okay. Photosynthetic means it will utilizes sunlight for the preparation of food. Here it utilizes chemicals which does not requires any light. Okay. Seventh question, the second option is the correct one. Okay. Next one, eighth one. The hydrogen donor in bacterial photosynthesis is usually
Ammonia.
Second one, right? Hydrogen sulfide. Okay. Remember hydrogen sulfide, that is a H2S. Hydrogen sulfide is H2S, which is usually donates hydrogen, okay, to any of the photosynthesis process. Okay, next, it is not a water, it is not sulfuric acid, it is not ammonia also. Yes, we will move to the 9th question. Plasmids are, this is also very easy question. Already you have studied in your biotechnology. Tell me, no? Plasmids are extra chromosomal genetic material. The third option is the correct option. As you all know about the plasmids. Plasmids are also called as, it is popularly called as what? Yes, tell me. Plasmids are also called as molecular vehicles, isn't it? Got the point? It is also called as molecular vehicles. Why it is called as molecular vehicles? Because it carries or it will transfer the genetic material from one bacteria to another bacteria. So if you consider this is a plasmids, the plasmids always it is circular double-stranded one. Okay, if we cut the plasmids with the help of what? Which enzymes are involved in cutting of DNA? Please do interact. Which enzymes? Why no answer? REN, right? Restriction endonucleases. Why? Forgot or what? Restriction endonucleases. These are the enzymes which helps to cut the DNA in a particular site, which is also called as the recognition site. It will recognizes a particular fragments of DNA, okay, and it will be removed. Okay, we are going to study in detail when we are dealing with the biotechnology. Okay, so remember the plasmids are the extra chromosome. Extra chromosomes means if you consider this is a DNA, the DNA will be having a particular genetic material. Along with that, an extra chromosomes will also be present in the bacteria. So these are called as what? The plasmids. So they can extract this plasmids from the bacteria, and that plasmid will be used as a molecular vehicles, okay, to transfer a particular kind of DNA from one organisms to another organisms. Very important the functions of plasmids in case of biotechnology, genetic engineering, everything. Okay, we'll move to the 10th question. Why surgical instruments are boiled in water before use? This is a small kid can also answer this. Please tell me.
Ma'am, first option.
Very nice. For killing the pathogens present on them. Correct. So which is also called as, what is the name, particular name for killing a microorganisms? Anyone? Have you heard of sterilization? Okay, that is the option 1. Okay, please make a note. Sterilization is a process where there are two types of sterilization, you can say. One is the surface sterilization or the internal sterilization also. Okay, so surface sterilization means usually we will go for surface sterilization if we are using any of the instruments. Okay, we will kill so many pathogens are the microorganisms which usually causes diseases, which is a pathogen that is present on the surface, right? So if we go for one more technique is also there, not only boiling. With the help of boiling, we can kill the microorganisms which is present on their surface. Can anyone tell me one more method is also there to kill a surface sterilization?
Ma'am, you're passing UV rays.
Yes, good. UV rays can also be passed. Along with that, a very important thing is alcohol, isn't it? If why we will also, why we are nowadays we are using what to sterilize our hands? What we are using? Sanitizer. Right? Yes. So sanitizers is also a component. A small amount of alcohol will be there in the sanitizer. So only you will get somewhat smell. Okay, that is because of the alcohol. A small percentage of alcohol will be added to the sterilizer. Okay, it is used as a sanitizer. Okay. So next one is the 11th one. So doctors use it whatever it is that is not required. The 10th one is that answer. Okay, 11th one. Which of the following compounds are decomposed during petrifaction? What do you mean by putrefaction? Can anyone tell me what is putrefaction? Yes, tell me, no? Write down anaerobic breakdown of proteins. Anaerobic, it is nothing but anaerobic breakdown of proteins. Okay, the breakdown of protein is called as a putrefaction. Okay, so what is the answer for that? Proteins only, right? Just now I have told you it is a breakdown of proteins, and it is an anaerobic condition. What do you mean by anaerobic condition? Please interact fast. In absence of oxygen, okay, remember, write down. If you don't know, please write down. Anaerobic condition is nothing but an area where lack of oxygen. It is completely of carbon dioxide and many other gases may be present, but oxygen will be not there. If we allow the oxygen to that particular anaerobes, okay, anaerobes, okay, so it will die. Okay, that is very sensitive to oxygen. So hence they are called as anaerobic bacteria or anaerobics, anything. So anaerobic process will be happening where the breakdown of proteins takes place. So that process is called as a putrefaction. Then can you tell me the carbohydrates breakdown called as? What is carbohydrates breakdown called as? What is the process name? Or what is the product which is produced when the carbohydrates are broken down? You are already studied that. It forms into glycogen, right? Glycogen. Please make a note. When the carbohydrates broken down, no, it forms into glycogen. Some amount of formed into glucose, and the glucose, when it is not used up, and that glucose will be converted into glycogen. So glycogen, it is nothing but later it forms into fats if it is not degraded. Yes, okay. So next we will move to the next question. Then what is one more thing I wanted to tell you here? The fats, last option, one more option is there, the fats. So what is the name of that process where the fat is broken down? It is called as adipose here, it seems. Write down ADIPOCERE. Adipose here. Adipose here is nothing but what? The breakdown of fats. Okay, as usual, it is forms into glycerol and what is the one more thing? Glycerols and fatty acids, right? The fats undergo degradation, it forms into glycerol and fatty acids, and the process name is known as adipose here. How the proteins called as putrefaction, like that fats are called as adipose here. We'll move to the 12th question. Nucleoid is present in, very easy answer.
Ma'am, bacteria.
Very nice, good. Why it is called as nucleoid? Can anyone tell me? See, bacteria are prokaryotes. Okay, there is no particular nuclear membrane as such. This is one of the characteristic features. Everyone knows it, right? In case of eukaryotes, what happens? In case of eukaryotes, the particular nuclear membrane is present. Okay, nuclear membrane is present. But in case of bacteria, there is no such cases. So if this is a bacteria, the inside the cytoplasm itself, what is that? The genetic material is present. Okay, hence the name is called as what? Nucleoid. And in rest of the things, what happens? There is viruses, slime molds, and fungi. They are all eukaryotes. They have a nucleus in them. Okay, that is the difference between nucleoid and the nucleus. Okay, the 13th question. What is the 13th question? Glycocalyx of fibers of some bacteria so present is made up of what? Is made up of polysaccharides. Remember, it is not a protein, it is not a fat, but it is a polysaccharides. So examples for poly means, you know, what are polysaccharides? Can anyone tell me what is polysaccharides? Poly refers to many, saccharides means the monosaccharide units. So many different groups of monosaccharide units are called as polysaccharides. So example for polysaccharides are the glycocalyx, even starch can also, starch, cellulose, okay, hemicellulose, pectin. So these are the some of the examples for what polysaccharides. Okay, we'll move to the 14th question. The nitrifying bacteria is,
Ma'am, chemosynthetic.
very nice, good. So fourth option is the correct option, chemosynthetic bacteria. What is nitrifying bacteria there? The bacteria which fixes the atmospheric nitrogen to the soil, remember. So some of the bacteria have an ability to absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and it will fix us to the soil. So that will enhances the fertility of the soil. So usually farmers, what they will do, they will harvest one of the product, the sense rice, ragi, whatever. After that, they will go for leguminous plants. Remember, can you give an example for leguminous plants?
Ma'am, groundnut.
What is that, Pa?
Groundnut.
Yes, good, Pa. Yes, leguminous plants are the groundnuts, the peas, the beans. Okay, see, these are the very good examples for leguminous plants. These leguminous plants, they have in the roots, some of the nodules will be present. Can anyone tell me what is that nodules consists of? What bacteria? Nodules means if you take out the peas rooted up. Okay, so in the roots, you can see some of the bubbles tara kaansutte. Okay, na? So those bubbles are called as what? Root nodules anta kariತೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ. Root nodules. So inside the root nodules, there is a particular bacteria called as rhizobium. Okay, so this can be next to other questions, but then help agutte. So only little bit I'm elongating. Leguminous plants andre nimge ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. In the roots, plants the root ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, root nodules ಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ. So the root nodules are pinkish in color. Remember, last year in first year PUC you have studied nitrogen fixation, everything, right? So root nodules and pinkish color irutte. Why adu pinkish color alli irutte antandre, because of the presence of a particular pigment called as a leg hemoglobin. Remember, hemoglobin. Napka bantapa? Okay, leg hemoglobin is present. So which acts under anaerobic condition. Anaerobic condition, remember. So leguminous plants which has root nodules, inside the root nodules we have rhizobium bacteria. These rhizobium bacteria have an ability to absorb the atmospheric nitrogen and fixes to the soil. So from that way, soil enhances. So instead of using organic fertilizers, okay, instead of using some of the chemical fertilizers, they will go for this type of method. So in order to enhance the nitrogen content in the soil. So that's all about the nitrifying bacteria. We have little bit extended part I have explained to you. I hope you have understood properly, all of you. Yes, next one is, as you know, I need not to explain what is autotrophic, what is a saprophytic and parasitic. All of you, I think you know the points. Autotrophs means self-preparing plants which with the utilization of the sunlight. Saprophytes, which mainly depends upon the dead and decaying substance, whereas parasites, which requires the host body to absorb the nutrition from the host. Okay. So that's all about the 14th question. All the options we have discussed. We'll move to the 15th question. Branched chain lipids occur in the cell membrane of. The first option, remember, Archaebacteria. Okay, it is Archaebacteria. Tell me about Archaebacteria if anyone knows first.
Ma'am, they live in extreme conditions.
Very nice, good. So Archaebacteria are those bacteria which lives in a very extreme conditions, like halophiles you can take. Okay, halophiles means the bacteria which lives in a very saline condition, halogen in the sense halophiles. Then you can say thermophiles, okay, thermoacidophiles, so many very harsh condition. Okay, In that places if organisms live, they are called as archaebacteria. It is not mycoplasma. Can anyone tell me what is mycoplasmas? See, mycoplasmas are pleuronematic, pleuronematic we can call. So in that cases, it can change its shape according to the environmental condition. Okay, it has that ability. And without a cell wall, remember, mycoplasmas, they do not have cell wall, only cell membrane will be present. Okay, so actinomycetes and streptomycins, these are also a kind of bacteria which helps in the production of antibiotics. Okay, streptomycin and actinomycetes both. Okay, we'll move to the 16th one. Naked DNA is that which is, what is the naked DNA? Yes, pa? Not associated with a histone protein. That is the answer for that. 16th one is the fourth option. Okay, 16th one. Naked DNA is that which is not associated with histone proteins. Histone proteins are those proteins which is present in the DNA. As you have studied in molecular biology, we are going to discuss a detailed structure, okay, of the histone proteins in that particular class. Okay, it is not rest of the things. So we'll move to 17th question. In a bacteria, the most resistant stage is resistant stage, which is called as a Torula stage. Please make a note. The fourth option is the correct option. 17th one. Morula stage. See, what is Morula stage? Write down. During unfavorable condition, highly resistant single spore. Okay. During unfavorable condition, highly resistant single spore is formed in the bacterial cell. Okay, even in case of anthrax bacteria, remember, in case of not only in case of tetanus and anthrax, in both the cases we have endospore. Okay, so remember, endospore is one of the very important stage where there is an unfavorable condition. No, these bacteria do not release the spore. These endospore, endo refers to inside only, right? So during unfavorable condition, if it releases the spores, those spores will die off. So what happens to the bacteria? The bacteria will make a place for the spores. It will store the spores inside their body till the environment has become normal. Once the favorable condition arises, these bacteria releases the spores and then the germination can take place. So that's all about a little bit important points on the endospore stage. 17th question. So remember, it's not it is not a Torula. It is nothing but what the endospore stage. That is the third option is the correct option. Okay. Next, coming to the 18th one, fimbriae. Fimbriae are. What is the function of fimbriae? In some of the bacteria, the bacteria, when it is attaching or it is infecting any of the organism, it has to first connect, it has to first adhescence. Adhesion means what? It has to come and attaches to the host organisms, and then it has to absorb the nutrients from the host, right? So what happens there? First, a very important organ is called as fimbriae. Organs, that is the first options you write there. Organs of adhesion. Adhesion, okay? Organs of adhesion, which is the first option, which is the correct option for fimbriae. Next, we'll move to the 19th one. Genes for antibiotic resistance are located in 19th one. Genes for antibiotic resistance gene. Yes, pa? Anyone? It is present in plasmids. Remember, it is present in plasmids, not in the chromosomes, not in the nucleus as well as the cell wall. So it is present in the plasmid. That is the 19th answer. We'll move to the 20th one. Peptidoglycan. This already I have explained to you. Fast, if you answer me fast, we can do it fast and we can start with the chapter. Yes, summary for the third chapter. Tell me no, fast. Peptidoglycan is a characteristic constituent of cell wall of what? Bacteria and cyanobacteria. We have discussed right now, just now. Peptidoglycan, which is also called as a neuropeptide. Both one and the same. Infoldings of the plasma membrane of gram-positive bacteria give rise to chondrioids. Remember, write down for third option, 21st question, third option. Viruses inhabiting in bacteria. That is the meaning of, what is that? One sec. Infoldings of plasma membrane of gram-positive bacteria give rise to chondriocytes. Please write down. Chondriocytes are nothing but the virus inhibiting in bacteria. Viruses inhabiting in bacteria. So it can also take that bacteriophages also. The virus which infects the bacteria, no, they are called as chondrioids. Okay, chondrioids. Next one, 22nd question. The cells of bacterium Streptococcus remain arranged in the form of. Anyone? Why girls are today very silent? Second option, irregular clusters. How the Streptococcus will be present. These are all the important questions from so many years question paper. Okay, I'm not telling you this is 2016 or 2017 like that. Mixed all the questions, I have clubbed it. Okay, and I have giving a very good questions for you. Okay, the cells of the bacterium Streptococcus remains arranged in the form of irregular clusters. Remember, 23rd question. Which of the following does not evolve oxygen? Yes, who will tell the answer? Which should not give oxygen during the process?
4.
Is it fourth or is it first one? What is the question? One sec. Which of the following does not evolve oxygen? They use this H2S at the place of water, that you have to remember. The first one is the answer. Photosynthetic bacteria. Photosynthetic bacteria means cyanobacteria. Okay, they do not have exactly the chlorophyll pigment, but they do form, they do undergo photosynthesis. Photosynthesis process it will take up, but they do not evolve oxygen. In case of autotrophic bacteria, autotrophic plants, blue-green algae, then green algae, they all releases oxygen during photosynthesis. Whereas some of the photosynthetic bacteria, they do not evolve oxygen. That requires a very low intensity of sunlight. Okay, it doesn't require any very high temperature or very good sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Even though very light intensity of light is also there, they will undergo photosynthesis, but they do not evolve oxygen. Okay, remember that is the first option is the correct option there. Next one, 24th question. The DNA of E. coli is double-stranded and circular. Remember that the E. coli bacteria, okay, the genetic material will be like this. The DNA of E. coli will be circular in nature and they are double-stranded, not the single-stranded. So the fourth option is the correct options for 24. It is not single-stranded and linear. Linear means it will be like this. No, like this. It is linear. Okay, circular means like this. Okay, so that you have to remember in case of what? E. coli DNA, it is like that. Next one, 25th question. Which of the following is also called as halophiles? Very easy. Just now we have.
Third option.
Yes, good. Okay, 25th question. Please, we will little bit will go fast. Bacterial cell divides in every minute. It takes 1 hour to fill up a cup. How much time will it take to fill half of the cup?
Ma'am, 3.
Minutes they have asked. 26th question, the number of bacteria becomes double after each division, that you have to remember. So they have given in every minute, it will take 1 hour to fill up the cup. How much time will it take to fill half of the cup they have given? So how much minutes you have to tell me?
Ma'am, 60 minutes.
Yes, how it is 60 minutes? After 20 minutes, you have to remember, after 20 minutes, each single division of the bacteria takes place. Okay, if one bacteria is there, after 20 minutes, it will give rise to 2 bacteria. Okay, like that, if the multiplication takes place, the DNA, the replication of the DNA is also, it can take place. So you can just calculate how it happens. It takes 59 minutes. Okay, it will take, the number of bacteria becomes double after each division. Okay, that is the answer actually. So it takes nearly 59 minutes actually. Okay, 59 minutes to fill up the cup. 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ. In 1 hour ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ 1 hour ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ತಗೊಳ್ಬೋದಪ್ಪ ನಾವು, ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ 59 minutes ಅಂತನೂ ನಾವು. Okay, 60 minutes also we can take the answer. No, one sec. Double after each division. Yeah, it is third option. Third option you can take, it is 60 minutes. Okay, 60 minutes it will take to fill the cup. So remember, after each 20 minutes, okay, each 20 minutes it will take to divide. Okay, it will take 60 minutes to fill the cup. Okay, they have not given a proper bacterial number. The number of the bacteria they have not given. So we will see how it takes place. I will go through some of the other questions also, like regarding this question only. We will solve few more questions on this. How many bacteria will be produced in how many minutes, everything. Okay, next class we will discuss that also. We will move to the 27th question. The process in which the viruses are involved in sexual reproduction of bacteria is called as? It is transduction. Please remember, transcription is a process where the copying of the DNA and it forms into an mRNA that you have studied in protein synthesis. Transformation is also there. Transformation is nothing but uptaking of DNA from the surrounding. You have studied transformation experiments, no? Graphite experiment in molecular biology, right? Then translation and transcription, these are the very important process takes place in protein synthesis. So they are all the things. By sexual reproduction takes place in transduction. So what is the one more process takes place in sexual reproduction? Innondide error helboda? Have you heard of conjugation? Conjugation. So conjugation is also a method of sexual reproduction in bacteria. So transduction is also one type. Okay, remember, transduction and conjugation, these two are very important. Even transformation is nothing, it exactly the uptaking of DNA na horgade environment in the cells olagade tagoltivalla ನಾವು. So that is called as transformation. Yes, 28th question. The bacteria grows in the medium containing S35. S35 andre enappa? Sulfur 35, radioactive. Where you have studied sulfur and phosphorus? Anyone? But you should answer very fast, but no time. We are not wasting 1 minute also. Please tell me. Hershey's and graphite experiment, no? Hershey and Chase experiment. Remember, Hershey and Chase experiment, which is used to search the genetic material. So very important experiments you have studied in your second year PUC, right? So remember, very important, S35, which is nothing but a protein. Okay, a lone source of sulfur show its incorporation into protein we are giving. Okay, protein coat. Remember the entire structure. This is a bacteriophage. Okay, to the bacteriophage, the protein coat is there, and inside that we have the what? We have the DNA, right? So to the protein coat only, we are attaching S35 radioactive material, and one more bacteriophage where in order to see which is the genetic material, whether protein is a genetic material or the inside the DNA, whatever the DNA is there. So that is the that is a genetic material. So inside that the DNA, wherever this is used, we usually attach the P25 or 28. These are all what the radioactive material. So by this experiment, they have concluded the DNA will enters into the bacterial cell. If they both of them attaches the bacteria, the P sulfur, okay, will not go in detail. We are going to study these things. Remember, S35 is usually always it is attaches to the protein coat, not to the DNA. Okay, we'll move to the 29th question. Sex factor in bacteria is? Anyone?
First option.
Correct, good. F factor, which is nothing but the sex factor, where in case of DNA, as I told you, the conjugation, which is one of the important sexual reproduction. In case of conjugation, if there is a two bacteria, one will be the F plus, we can take F plus, and other one is F minus. F plus means what? This is a donor. This will act as what? Donor. F minus is act as a recipient. So the bacteria, the bacterial, one of the small part of the bacteria will transfer to the F minus with the help of a bridge formation. This is one more question. You can make a note, a sex pili. Remember, sex pili. Okay, sex pili is nothing but a small gap or the small bridge will takes place. Okay, where a bridge takes place, through that bridge only the genetic material will be passed from the donor to the recipient. By that way, the sexual reproduction takes place. So X factor is nothing but the F factor. We'll move to the 30th question. Transformation in bacteria was studying detailed by who has discovering the transformation experiment? Transformation. Studying details. The third option, Avery et al. Griffith has shown, remember, don't get confused here. Griffith has shown the genetic material is the DNA, but the transformation is DNA. What happens by, which was studied by Avery. That is the third option is the correct options for the 30th question. The 31st question is the Streptococcus lactis is responsible for, very easy answer. Who will tell the answer? Fast.
First option.
Very nice. First option. Conversion of milk into curd. Everyone knowing. Streptococcus lactis are bacillus, lactobacillus. So these are responsible for the conversion of milk to curd. It is not the conversion of molasses into alcohol. Molasses means, you know, it is an end product of conversion. During the conversion of alcohol or during the production of alcohol, one of the waste material will come, which is called as a molasses. Okay, that is not a tanning of leather and favors the tea or the tobacco. Okay, so 32nd question, a free living anaerobic bacterium capable of nitrogen fixation. This already have told you.
From Rhizobium.
Yes, Rhizobium. Even yes, Rhizobium is the correct options for 32nd one. Okay, where one sec, they have given anaerobic bacteria. Please, you have to make a note. Rhizobium, it works under aerobic. Remember what I have told you, anaerobic condition is inside the rhizobium is aerobic only, but whatever the leg hemoglobin, I told you, no, inside the bacteria, that requires anaerobic condition. Okay, so here they have given a free living anaerobic bacterium, okay, capable of nitrogen fixation in soil, which is nothing but the fourth option, Clostridium. If it is an aerobic bacteria, it is Rhizobium. If it is an anaerobic bacteria, okay, anaerobic bacteria, which is nothing but a Clostridium. Please make a note. Okay, next one. Which of the following groups of organisms are highly useful in increasing soil fertility? Bacteria only. Okay. It is not the what is that, fungi. It is not bryophytes. It is not red algae. Usually bacteria, as I told you, rhizobium bacteria, even clostridium bacteria, azotobacter. Okay, one more options which was in the previous 33rd question, azotobacter is there, no? That is also a nitrifying bacteria, but it is aerobic. Okay, you have to read the questions properly. You have to understand the things. You have to read the questions twice. Understand the questions, whether it is aerobic or whether it is anaerobic. Both the things are very, looks like very similar, but if a small mistake also makes you lose the marks. Okay. 34th question. For retting of jute, the fermenting microbes used is, retting of jute is nothing but the fermentation of jute are happening, okay, with the help of a microorganisms, which is nothing.
Third option.
Is it the third option or the second option, Pa? Yes, it is a second option only. Okay, so very important. Clostridium botulicum are the butyric acid bacteria. So butyric acid bacteria, which usually releases what? Clostridium butyriticus. That is also an example. You can take it. Pectin degradation, which is by pectin is not given. So I'm telling you, Streptococcus lactyle is there, no? Methanophilic is what? Methanophilic, which has
The bacteria living in marshy area.
very nice marshy area, which releases biogas, right? Or methane. Methane will be present, which usually releases biogas. So answer for the 34th question is the butyric acid bacteria. Okay, very important question. 35th question, microorganisms are used in, very easy.
All of the above.
Above. So sewage disposal also will use bacteria, biological control of disease like bacteroviruses. Okay, last one of the classes I have discussed like bacteroviruses, which usually kills the insects, which is used as what is that? Insecticides. Okay, insecticides, we can use it. Next, 35th question is fourth option. 36th question. Mycolic acid is present in the cell wall of pathogen causing, fourth one, tuberculosis. Remember, mycolic acid is present in the cell wall of pathogen causes tuberculosis. So what is cholera? What type of disease it causes? Cholera caused by which organism? Caused by which organism? Vibrio cholerae, right? You have studied in the shape of the bacteria like Vibrio cholerae, which is comma shaped structure that usually causes cholera, which is a waterborne diseases. Next one, diphtheria, tetanus. Can anyone tell me? Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which is a tuberculosis caused by what? Mycobacterium tuberculae. Okay. Next question, 37th question. Triple antigen. See, very important question. Please make a note. The 37th question. Triple antigen are DPT. Very important. Make a note. What is that? DPT. DPT stands for. So it is a type of a vaccine which is usually given to a person who is under age of 10 to 12 years of age. Yes, a vaccine against tetanus, whooping cough, and diphtheria. Very nice. So the fourth option is important, which is called as triple antigen. Nowadays, what they have done, vaccination, the combined vaccination they have done. Instead of giving a particular injection to diphtheria, particular injection to whooping cough or diphtheria like that, they have combined all the three vaccines together. They are giving in a single injection. Okay, so it is called as a DPT, a vaccine against tetanus, T for tetanus. Then whooping cough, which is a petunia. Okay, petunia is the name, and diphtheria for D. Next, 38th question. Crown gall is caused by, crown gall disease, everyone heard, which is caused by what? Bacteria, right? Remembered in case of applications of biotechnology, you have studied crown gall disease, which is caused by TI plasmids. Remember, this is one of the major diseases which is caused to dicots. Dicotyledonous plants, usually it will suffer from crown gall disease. Nowadays, the treatment has found out by RDT method, that is recombinant DNA technology. RDT stands for recombinant DNA technology. These techniques, okay, with the help of these techniques, nowadays they have found out the very important cure for crown gall disease. By RI, have you heard of RNAs? iRNA, interference RNA. Remember iRNA? Remember or what? Yes, you have to interact, pa. Okay. The disease pneumonia is caused by fast.
One.
It is bacteria, ma. Pneumonia. Streptococcus pneumoniae. Remember, pneumonia is a bacterial disease which is caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae. You have studied in molecular biology also, where S strain, R strain in the graphite experiment also. You would have studied that, but you have which is the cause of anthrax disease. Already we have discussed, it is bacteria. Okay, we'll move to the 41. Leprosy is caused by Mycobacterium. Remember, the third option is the correct options for there. Okay, Mycobacterium leprosy. Okay, leprosy, which causes leprosy. Okay, then 42nd question, which one of the smallest organism capable of autonomous growth and reproduction? It is the third option, which is called as mycoplasmas. It is not the virus, it is not the virions. Already you know, last class we have discussed the virions are the organisms which is smaller than viruses, which do not have a protein coat in them. Okay, so that is virions and even not the cyanobacteria. And we have 42nd is 3, 43rd. Little leaf of brinjal is caused by mycoplasmas. Remember, second one. Second option is correct, not the virus, not the fungus, not the algae, but it is mycoplasmas. Next, 44th question. Which of the following are called as bacteria without cell wall? You see, very easy. You should be very, very fast. The question ಕೇಳಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ answer ಹೇಳಂತ capacity ಇರಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಆವಾಗಲೇ you can ಆರಾಮ್ಸೆ you can crack the exams. 44th
Third option.
Very easy. Micro ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ already discuss ಮಾಡಿದೀವಲ್ವಾ. ಮೈಕೋಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಮಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಲ್ ವಾಲ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ, ಸೆಲ್ ಮೆಂಬ್ರೇನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ 2-3 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಅದೇ ತರನೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್, ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲಿನ್ and vancomycin do not affect the mycoplasma because there is no cell wall. Okay, the first option is the correct option. No nucleus, mitochondria, adella tappu. There is no cell wall. If the cell wall has to be present, remember penicillin, as you know, penicillin is an antibiotic which is obtained from what? Tell me. Yenta species, what type of species?
Penicillium sativa.
Sativa, no. Notatum, right? Okay, Penicillium notatum is a species. Notatum, remember? So that is a species name. From that, penicillin is an antibiotic which is obtained, which is a fungus. Remember, which is a fungi. Even Aspergillus niger. These are very important questions we have discussed from the second chapter, which is biological classification. We have completed the explanation along with the multiple choice questions. Now we will move to the third chapter from second year PUC, which is human reproduction. In human reproduction, very important topics only I'm going to discuss. As you know, in case of human, the sexual reproduction takes place. And coming to the male reproductive system, you have to very importantly in second PUC, you have studied the male reproductive system diagram, and there are 5 events takes place. What are the 5 events? You have to tell me, please interact. Already the time is moving up. Okay, I don't want to waste a single minute also of you. Tell me what is 5 events which are present in human reproduction. First one is the gametogenesis, means the production of gametes. Okay, before human reproductions to happen, the gametes should be ready in both in case of males as well as in case of females also. In case of male, it is called as the sperm, and in case of female, it is called as the ova. Right, this is the gametogenesis, means the production of gametes is called as gametogenesis. After gametogenesis, what is the next event?
Spermatogenesis.
I didn't get it, ba?
Ma'am, spermatogenesis.
No. I'm asking, don't go in detail. Just I'm asking the events. So once the human reproduction has to take place, what are the 5 events there? First one is the gametogenesis. After the production of the gametes, the insemination, right? Remember, insemination means the transfer of sperm from the males to the female genital tract. Okay, that is called as what? Insemination. So once the sperm entered into the female reproductive tract, what happens there?
Fertilization.
Okay, you have to remember, just think of it. First, the gametogenesis, production of gametes takes place. After the gametogenesis, it will be transferred from the males to the female. That is process is called as insemination. After once the entering of the sperm into female genital tract, that is called as fertilization takes place. So once the fertilization takes place, the zygote formation takes place there. So after the formation of zygote, after fertilization, what happens?
Implantation.
Very nice. So only implantation takes place, right? Implantation is nothing but attachment of the zygote. The zygote will be converted into an embryo. Embryo will be converted into blastocyst. That and all you have studied. Okay, this blastocyst will go and attaches to the uterus wall. Where in which wall of the uterus it will attach? The endometrium wall, right? As you have studied, the uterus is made up of 3 layers: outer perimetrium, middle myometrium, and innermost is the endometrium. To the endometrium layer, the implantation takes place. Yes. After implantation, what happens there?
Parturition.
Immediately parturition. Gestation period, right? It has to develop, no ma? Yes, gestation period is nothing but the development of the embryo till 9 months, the development agbeko. Then after that, the last process is the parturition. Parturition is nothing but the delivery of the baby, isn't it? So these are the 5 events of human reproduction. Coming to the male reproductive system now, so I will not go in detail. What are the main points of the male reproductive system? We are discussing that. A pair of testes will be present, isn't it? A pair of testes, you can write here, a pair of testes. Then accessory ducts will be present. Then accessory gland will be present. Then external gynentia, which is nothing but the penis. So these are the parts of male reproductive system. Coming to the testes, what are the important points you should be remembered under testes? Anyone fast? They are oval in shape, reddish in color, everything you know. And there is a very important point. Each testicles are surrounded, or it is protected by a pouch-like structure called as a scrotum. You have to remember. In case of scrotum, you have to remember, like the main function of the scrotum is it lowers the temperature. Remember, it lowers the temperature of the testes or the testicles, anything. So which is very much important for the development of sperm. Developing sperm. The temperature, it may be 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius. Remember, Okay, the scrotum, the main function of the scrotum means it lowers the temperature of the testicles. That is nearly our body temperature is 37 degree, right? So in that temperature, it is not at all suitable for the developing sperm. So the body temperature ಏನೇ ಇರಲಿ, so 2 to 2.5 degree Celsius ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, which is ಎಷ್ಟು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ the sperm development ಗೆ ಅದು ಬೇಕು. So not only that, it protects the testis. Protection one though. Otherwise, one more is that it lowers the body temperature to 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius for the development of the sperm. That is the function of the scrotum. Next, after scrotum, what is the one more point you should remember under testis? So if we take the anatomy of the testis, you can remember there is a testicular lobules will be there, isn't it? Testicular lobules. How many testicular lobules will be present? Just I will write it in a flow chart. Please write down that, so it will be helpful. So there are, if we anatomically 250 compartments will be present. Those compartments are called as testicular lobules. If you are writing along with me, it will be helpful for your final touch-up during examination point of view. 250 compartment called as testicular lobules. Each testicular lobules will be having 2 to 3 seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous tubule. So each seminiferous tubule, inside the seminiferous tubule, there is a presence of the production of the sperms. Remember, if you consider this is a testicular lobules, no, there are 2 to 3 seminiferous tubules will be present. So inside this seminiferous tubule, there is a production of sperm. Okay, got the point? So seminiferous tubules are called as structural and functional unit. Please make a note. This is very important for your examination point of view, which is called as structural and functional unit of testis. Functional unit of testis. So there is so many questions based on this, which is the structural and functional unit, which is called as seminiferous tubule. How many seminiferous tubules present in each testicular lobules means 1, 2, 3. Okay, that also you have to remember. So inside the seminiferous tubules, the sperms will be produced. Any doubt till here, pa? Anyone? Have you all understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So in the seminiferous tubule, you can remember there are 2 types of cells also you have to remember. So one is called as the Sertoli cells. Okay. These are the pillar-like cells. They are called as Sertoli cells. And in between the germinal, the entire layer is called as germinal epithelium. Remember. Okay. Germinal epithelial cells will be there and the surrounding. These are called as what? Sertoli cells. What is the function of Sertoli cells is also important, which gives the nourishment for the developing sperm. Remember, developing sperm. And in between the Sertoli cells, there are so many cells. Okay, these cells helps in the production of the sperm. Like spermatogonia is present. Spermatogonia undergo meiotic cell division. Okay, these meiotic cell division, first meiotic, second meiotic. Please try to understand the spermatogenesis takes place in this layer. So, okay, during spermatogenesis, the spermatogonia, these are spermatogonia. This undergo mitotic cell division. This is called as a primary spermatocytes that undergo second meiotic cell division, forms into secondary spermatocytes. Okay, from the secondary spermatocytes, it forms into spermatids. Okay, from the spermatids, what happens? These spermatids take the nutrition from the Sertoli cells and then it releases the sperms in the lumen. In this is the lumen, right? In the lumen, there is a production of sperms. Nearly 200 to 300 sperms will be produced at the single ejaculation. Any doubt till here, pa? Everyone understood the concept? Already you have studied, just a glance I have given here. Okay. That process here, which is the sperms with the spermatids, which get the nutrition from the Sertoli cells, no, that process is known as, what is that process known as? Anyone? Anyone?
Ma'am, can you repeat the question, ma'am?
The spermatids which take the nutrition from the Sertoli cells for the further development. From the spermatid, it directly cannot form into sperms because it has to take the nutrition from the Sertoli cells. What is that process called as? Spermiation. Spermiation. Remember, spermiation, which is a process where the spermatids takes the nutritions from the Sertoli cells. So that is about the testis. We have discussed everything. Then coming to the accessory ducts, accessory ducts, it starts from
Vasa efferentia.
starts from a rated
Ma'am,
testis.
seminal vesicles.
Yes, the next one is
Vast difference.
vas difference, vasa efferentia. Remember, vasa efferentia. After that, vasa efferentia, epididymis. Okay, and after epididymis, last one is vas deferens. So vas deferens is the longest duct which carries the sperms. Right. So if you considered, if this is a lumen, to this lumen only, this rated testis is attached. Okay, whatever the sperms which is collected at the lumen, no, that will be transferred to the rated testis. From the rated testis, it will goes to the vas efferentia. Okay, from the vas efferentia, the sperms will be transferred to the epididymis. It will stores there. Okay, the maturation also takes place in the epididymis region. Remember, epididymis is the pouch-like or the cup-like structure present on each. What is that? Each testis. Okay, you can see the diagrammatic sketch, everything, where the maturation also takes place in the epididymis, and finally it will move to the vas deferens, which is the longest duct which carries the sperm from the testis to the gland. Remember, to the accessory gland. So tell me, what are the accessory glands present in male reproductive system?
Ma'am, seminal vesicles.
Very good. A pair of, you can remember, please remember, a pair of seminal vesicle, then a prostate gland. Okay, remember, a prostate means only one prostate gland is present. Okay, here is the pair of seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle, a prostate gland, and a pair of bulbo. Yes, very good. Bulbourethral gland. See, these gland helps in the secretions of some of the juices. What is the main along with this sperm, these secretions of these glands secretion will mix together, forms into a semen. Okay, the semen which usually contains calcium, fructose, okay, and some of the enzymes. Okay, remember all these, the secretions of the semen, okay, will passes out through the external gynentia, which is the penis. Okay, so these are the very important topic under a male reproductive system. So I have completed everything, and coming to the structure of the sperm little bit. Already it's time, it's whatever, how much speed I can do it, also it is, the time is not at all sufficient. Whatever the structure of the sperm, tell me fast.
Ma'am, it contains head, acrosomes, neck, and tail.
Yes, very good. So it consists of head region, okay, head region, then the middle piece, and the tail. Okay, there is no spaces here, so please make a note. In the head region, there is a cup-like structure like this. What do we call it as? Acrosomes. Remember? Yes, very important point. Acrosomes, which is present in the head region, not in the complete head region. At the anterior portions of the head region, we consists of what? Acrosomes. Very important function of the acrosomes, which contains, sorry, hydrolytic enzymes. Okay, which contains hydrolytic enzymes, which is very much important for the piercing of the ova. Once the sperm once the sperm comes in contact, if you consider this is ova, now the sperm is coming in contact with the, okay, so consider this is the sperm here. So this is a tail region. The sperm, the anterior end, which has an acrosome, right? So this acrosome releases some of the enzymes. Those hydrolytic enzymes helps in the degradation of the ova. So ova will be having, we will going to discuss the structure of ova later. So once, okay, we will complete this at least today. So acrosomes, understood now? Very important thing. Then coming to the head region, in the head region, the presence of a male nucleus is present. So the main function of that, which is a haploid nucleus, this has to fuse with the female nucleus. Okay. Next, next region is the sperm, is the neck region is there, and just the support for the head, it is present between the head and the tail. Next, coming to the middle piece, okay, this presence of the middle piece, head, neck, middle piece, and the tail. Okay, these are the parts, right? So, what is the function of middle piece? Anyone?
Ma'am, it provides energy.
Yes, good. So in the middle layer, there is a presence of a very important called mitochondria, which provides the energy. As you know, mitochondria is called as the powerhouse of the cell, which gives the energy for the movement of the sperm. Okay, and it has to reach us to the fallopian tube also. We will discuss that why it has to move to the fallopian tube yesterday, in the next class. Okay, so mitochondria, you know, it is present in the middle region, which gives the energy for its movement, whereas the tail region helps in the swimming. Okay, it helps in the swimming in the female genital tract for the movement. Okay, for the movement it will be helping. So that's all about the male reproductive system. As much as possible, the important points I have discussed with you. So in the next class, I will be completing the important summary of the female reproductive structure, then how the fertilization takes place, everything, and I will be discussing the important questions on this also in the next class. Okay. Still 3 more minutes. Can I discuss with name the hormones? We will little bit discuss about the hormones which is usually produced in the male reproductive system. Can anyone tell me what type of hormones will be released?
Testosterone.
Yeah, testosterone. Before that, have you heard of GnRH? What is GnRH stands for?
Gonadotropin.
Releasing hormone, gonadotropic releasing hormone, GnRH. So this GnRH will releases nearly 2 kinds of hormones there. One is called as FSH hormone and other one is called as LH hormone. Can anyone tell me the full form of that and their functions?
Ma'am, FSH is the follicular stimulating hormone.
Very nice.
Ma'am, it helps in simulating the spermatids.
Okay, good. Yes, it mainly acts on in case of males and females. Both in case of males and females, these hormones will be releasing, but the region is different. So FSH stands for follicle stimulating hormone. It mainly acts on the Sertoli cells. Remember, Sertoli cells. Sertoli cells, as I have already discussed, what is its function, everything. Whereas LH hormone stands for luteinizing hormone. Remember, these luteinizing hormone, it mainly acts on the Leydig cells. Please tell me, anyone, Leydig cells, what is meant by that? Leydig cells?
Ma'am, it is the cells present in between seminiferous tubules.
Very nice, very nice. I have not discussed that actually between 2 seminiferous tubule, there are a presence of some cells called as Leydig cells. These Leydig cells are also called as interstitial cells. Don't get confused with both the words. Leydig cells are also called as interstitial cells, which helps in the production of a particular kind of a hormone called as androgen. Okay, androgen as well as the testosterone, both the hormones, but androgens, it gives the sexual characters in case of males, that is the production of mustache or the production of the sperms, everything. So that is main important, androgens will be produced. So little bit about the hormones also we have discussed. So we have not wasted even a single minute also. Have you all understood the points, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Padel. Okay, Padel. We will meet it in the next class. I will be try to not complete 100%. We will complete the topics and we are discussing the important questions also. Okay, Padel. Bye, all of you.